Temu is basically the Wild West of online shopping. One minute you're looking at cheap socks, and the next, you've stumbled into a section of the internet that feels like a budget armory. We aren't talking about gunpowder or firearms here. We are talking about ingenious, bizarre, and sometimes terrifying tactical gadgets that rely on physics, blades, and pure intimidation. From hidden spikes to gadgets that look straight out of a comic book, we've found 17 lethal weapons that you can actually buy right now. Just a quick heads up before we dive in, you can find links to all these products right there in the description below. Also, because Temu is constantly fluctuating with flash sales and lightning deals, the prices mentioned in this video are accurate at the time of recording, but might shift a few dollars here or there. You definitely want to stick around for number 5. It is a game changer for home security that fits in your pocket. Let's get started. Number 17, stainless steel Ace of Spades throwing cards. Priced to $4.99, set of 4. If you have ever fantasized about having the kinetic abilities of a certain Cajun superhero from the X-Men, this is as close as you are going to get without mutating your DNA. While normal playing cards are made of cardstock or plastic and might give you a nasty paper cut if thrown with Olympic precision, these are solid, heavy-gauge stainless steel rectangles sharpened to a razor edge on all 4 sides. They completely fundamentally change the physics of throwing cards. With a paper card, you are fighting air resistance and drag, requiring a specific flick of the wrist to get it to fly straight. With these, the mass does the work for you. The weight behind each card allows it to fly with significant momentum, turning a novelty item into a legitimate shuriken disguised as a poker hand. When these impact a target, whether it's a cardboard box, a dartboard, or something softer, they don't just bounce off, they embed deep. The danger here is actually twofold. First, they are projectiles. But secondly, simply holding them is a hazard. Because all 4 edges are sharpened, you cannot hold them like a standard deck of cards without slicing your fingers. You have to handle them by the face or very carefully by the corners. Number 16, Bushcraft Scotch Eye Auger Drill. $11.49. This tool looks harmless to the untrained eye, like a stray piece of hardware from a tractor, but in the wilderness, it is the difference between sleeping on the wet ground and building a fortress. This is a heavy-duty, solid steel manual drill bit, but the genius lies in the eye at the top. The concept is brutally simple. You find a sturdy stick, jam it through the eye to create a T-handle, and now you have enough leverage to manually drill perfectly circular holes into hardwood logs. While it is marketed as a bushcraft tool for building ladders, chairs, and Swedish torch rocket stoves, the lethality comes from its construction. We are talking about a solid chunk of hardened high-carbon steel that is essentially indestructible. In a self-defense scenario, if you grip the auger shaft and let the eye protrude from your knuckles, you have improvised a devastating impact weapon that hits harder than brass knuckles because of the focused surface area. Furthermore, the auger bit itself is designed to tear through oak and maple. Against softer materials, it causes catastrophic puncture damage. It's a dual-purpose survival item. It creates shelter by day and serves as a formidable blunt force multiplier by night. Number 15, 50 caliber bullet folding knife, priced to $3.99. There is something undeniably aggressive about the silhouette of a 50 BMG round. It is the ammo used in heavy machine guns and sniper rifles to disable vehicles, so naturally, someone decided to turn that shape into a pocket knife, sitting on your desk. This looks exactly like a spent brass casing, a souvenir from a gun range. It's a clever bit of camouflage that allows the knife to hide in plain sight among pens, paperweights, and other desk clutter. The casing is usually made of a zinc alloy or brass-plated steel to give it that authentic, heavy clink when you set it down. However, the bullet is just the housing. A fingernail groove on the side allows you to pull out a drop-point blade, usually measuring about 2 to 3 inches. The blade steel on these Temu specials is typically 440 stainless. It's not going to hold an edge through 1,000 cardboard cuts, but it is rust-resistant and sharp enough for get-off-me defense or opening packages. The ergonomics are admittedly strange. Holding a cylinder isn't the most secure grip for a knife fight, which is why this falls squarely into the last-ditch or hidden category. It relies on the element of surprise. Number 14, retractable magic metal pocket staff. Price to $3.48. You've likely seen this device all over TikTok and YouTube Shorts. usually accompanied by someone in a martial arts GI snapping it open with a satisfying thwack. It starts as a compact cylinder, no larger than a roll of quarters, easily concealed in a palm or a pocket. But with the press of a single mechanical button at the base, a coiled spring mechanism releases the tension, and the metal foil unspools instantly into a 3.5-foot-long silver staff. The speed of deployment is practically instantaneous blink, and it's there. Now, we need to be real about the lethality here. This isn't a solid steel crowbar. It's made from thin coiled stainless steel sheet metal. If you tried to block a baseball bat with this, the staff would bend or collapse. However, the weapon's true power is psychological and visual intimidation. The sound it makes when opening is loud and startling, and the sudden appearance of a long metal weapon causes a flinch response in an aggressor. It extends your reach significantly, allowing you to poke or distract an opponent from a safe distance. The tip, while hollow, is metal and can cause injury if thrust into sensitive areas like the face or throat. It is known as a compliance tool. It makes people back off because they don't know it's flimsy. Just a warning, be careful when opening this. Number 13. Handheld Wolverine-style 3-blade claws. $13.49. Subtlety is completely thrown out the window with this one. While most self-defense tools try to be discreet, this product screams aggression. Modeled after comic book weaponry, this is a gauntlet-style grip that fits into your palm, with the handle bracing against the heel of your hand. Extending from between your knuckles are 310 to 11-inch stainless steel blades. This transforms your fist into a terrifying slashing implement that extends your reach by nearly a foot. Unlike a standard knife where you have one point of contact, this device creates 3 parallel wound channels with every swipe. The damage potential here is catastrophic because the wounds are difficult to suture. The skin between the cuts is often shredded. Structurally, these are usually stamped from a single piece of steel or welded onto a robust handle, meaning they can take a significant amount of abuse. The grip design is crucial because the handle rests inside your fist. It is very hard to disarm you without breaking your fingers. It forces you to fight with a natural punching motion or a feral slashing motion, which requires very little training to be dangerous. However, the downside is functionality. You cannot hold a phone, open a door, or grab anything else while wearing this. Number 12. Tactical Cross Hidden Knife Necklace. Price to $4.48. Most concealed carry tools suffer from a common problem. You still have to put them somewhere. A knife takes up pocket space, a pepper spray canister clutters your keychain. This item, however, completely bypasses the storage issue by becoming a part of your daily wardrobe. At a glance, this appears to be a large, somewhat ornate religious pendant, a standard Christian cross made from a polished zinc alloy or stainless steel hanging on a bead chain. It is the kind of item that blends seamlessly into everyday life, widely recognized as a symbol of faith rather than a tool of aggression. That specific psychological blind spot is exactly what makes this gadget so effective. Nobody looks at a necklace and thinks, that's a threat. But the engineering here turns jewelry into a defensive stiletto. The cross is actually composed of 2 distinct parts held together by a friction fit mechanism or a hidden internal latch. The top loop stays attached to the necklace chain around your neck, while the bottom section, the vertical and horizontal bars of the cross, pulls downward to reveal a 1.5 to 2-inch steel spike or double-edged dagger. The deployment motion is incredibly fast because your hands are usually near your chest or face during a confrontation anyway. You essentially grab your faith and rip it downwards, unsheathing a spike instantly. While a blade this size isn't going to win a sword fight, it is designed for point-driven defense. It functions similarly to a push dagger or a neck knife, but without the bulky Kydex sheath printing through your shirt. The blade is typically thick enough to pierce through heavy clothing, like a denim jacket or a winter coat, which is often a barrier for smaller pocket knives. It is a get-off-me tool designed to target the hands or arms of an attacker trying to grab you. Number 11. Nylon Spiral Self-Defense Spike. Price to $3.99. If you keep up with high-end tactical gear, you might recognize the shape of this weapon immediately. It is heavily inspired by the Microtech Jagdkommando, a knife famous for its twisted tri-blade design. However, the Temu version swaps expensive milled steel for a material that offers a completely different set of advantages: glass-reinforced nylon or high-density polymer. This is a solid plastic spike, usually about 7 to 8 inches long, featuring a menacing 3-edged spiral that twists down to a needle-sharp point. Why choose plastic over steel? The answer lies in weight and detectability. This tool is feather-light, you can carry it all day and forget it is even there. Furthermore, because it contains no metal, it is completely immune to rust, corrosion, or magnetic detection. You can leave it buried in a flower pot outside your front door for 5 years, and it will be just as sharp as the day you bought it. But don't let the material fool you. Glass-reinforced nylon is incredibly rigid and strong enough to punch through plywood. The lethality here comes from the geometry of the blade. A standard flat knife creates a slit wound, which skin naturally tries to pull closed, aiding the clotting process. This spiral shape, however, acts like a drill bit. When it punctures, it displaces tissue in 3 different directions simultaneously, creating a corkscrew-shaped wound channel. Medically speaking, this type of injury is a nightmare to treat because the tissue doesn't just close up, it's been forced apart in a spiral pattern. It creates rapid blood loss and massive trauma from a simple thrust. Number 10. Laser-sighted resin slingshot. Price to $8.99. Forget the Y-shaped stick and red rubber tube you played with as a kid. Modern materials science has completely overhauled the humble slingshot, turning it into a silent, high-velocity hunting weapon. This device features a molded resin handle with an ergonomic pistol grip that fits the hand like a firearm, providing a stable platform for aiming, but the real upgrade is in the propulsion system. Instead of tubes, this uses flat rubber bands. In the world of slingshots, flat bands are superior because they have a faster retraction snapback speed, meaning they launch the projectile with significantly higher velocity than the old-school tubes ever could. To assist with accuracy, this gadget comes decked out with tech you usually find on rifles. It features a fiber optic sight system and, more impressively, a built-in laser sight that allows you to target instinctively, even in low light. Some models on Temu even include a small spirit level, a bubble level, integrated into the handle. This seems like a gimmick until you realize that canting the slingshot is the #1 reason for missing a shot. The bubble ensures you are holding the frame perfectly vertical relative to the ground. When loaded with 8mm or 10mm steel ball bearings, which you can also buy in bulk for pennies, this thing generates enough kinetic energy to hunt small game like rabbits or squirrels, or to shatter a car window from 30 yards away. It is silent, the ammo is reusable, and in a survival situation, you can use rocks or clay balls if you run out of steel. Number 9. Nylon webbing belt with hidden knife buckle. Price $15.99. The best survival tool is the one you actually have on you, and since most people wear a belt every day, this product capitalizes on prime real estate. To the casual observer, this looks like a standard rigger's belt, the kind of heavy-duty nylon webbing belt popular with hikers, military personnel, and outdoor enthusiasts. It holds up your pants, looks rugged, and secures with a matte black buckle. It blends in perfectly with jeans or cargo pants. The secret, however, is in the buckle assembly. The male end of the buckle, the part that you usually assume is just a clip, is actually the handle of a hidden knife. By pulling a specific release latch or applying force in a certain direction, the buckle detaches from the webbing, drawing out a 2.5 to 3-inch blade. These blades are often push daggers, where the blade protrudes from your fist, or fixed-blade knives with a serrated edge, often made of stainless steel with a black anti-reflective coating. The utility of this system is unmatched in a restraint scenario. If you are ever in a situation where your pockets are inaccessible, maybe you are pinned down, or your hands are zip-tied in front of you, your waistline is often still within reach, you can deploy this blade to cut through restraints or to defend yourself when you have been disarmed of everything else. The belt itself remains functional even when the knife is removed, so your pants don't fall down while you are fighting for your life. Number 8. 5-prong harpoon screw-on gig head. Price to $3.99. This item is a masterclass in modularity. It is essentially a pocket-sized force multiplier that transforms any stick, pole, or broom handle into a mid-range lethal weapon. The product itself consists of a stainless steel cluster of 5 sharpened spikes, arranged in a circle, often with barbed tips similar to fish hooks. At the base of this cluster is a standard 8mm screw thread, the same size found on many landing net handles or camera tripods. The idea is that you don't need to carry a 6-foot spear in your backpack. You carry this 4-ounce piece of metal, and when you reach your campsite or face a threat, you find a sturdy branch, whittle the end down or use a matching pole and screw this head onto it. Instantly, you have a 5-point fishing gig or a combat spear. The gig design is particularly nasty because of the barbs. In fishing, these are designed to hold onto a slippery fish that is thrashing around. In a self-defense context, those barbs mean that once the weapon penetrates, it does not come out easily. Pulling it out causes significantly more damage than the entry. Furthermore, a single-point spear can be dodged or deflected. A 5-point cluster covers a wider surface area, making it much harder to miss a thrust. It is terrifying to look at and even worse to experience. Number 7. Comb Fixed Blade Dagger to $4.99. If you have learned anything from this list so far, it should be that, in the world of tactical gear, nothing is ever just what it seems. We have seen bullets that are knives and necklaces that are spikes, but this item takes urban camouflage to a level that belongs in a spy movie. Sitting on a bathroom counter, inside a purse, or sticking out of a back pocket, this looks like a completely generic, cheap, black plastic hair comb. It is fully functional as a grooming tool. The teeth are real plastic, and you can actually use it to fix your hair. But the handle is a lie. When you grip the comb's teeth and pull firmly on the handle, you defeat a friction lock to reveal a 3 to 4 inch fixed blade concealed entirely within the spine of the comb. This is what experts call a covert or non-permissive environment tool. In many scenarios where a belt knife or a tactical folder would raise an alarm or get confiscated like a club, a restricted building, or a tense urban environment, a comb passes right through the visual filter. Security guards and potential attackers are looking for weapons, not toiletries. The blade itself is usually a single-edged dagger profile made from stainless steel. Because the handle is the handle of the comb, it offers a surprisingly comfortable and familiar grip. You hold it exactly as you would if you were just holding the comb, which makes the deployment extremely intuitive. In a self-defense situation, the element of surprise is your biggest advantage. An attacker sees you reach for a comb and assumes you are distracted or weirdly vain. They do not expect that motion to result in a blade being drawn. Number 6. Heavy-duty bike chain self-defense bracelet, priced to $14.99. Jewelry is usually about aesthetics, but this piece is entirely about kinetic energy. At first glance, this looks like a chunky, industrial-style fashion bracelet, the kind of heavy metal accessory that bikers or mechanics might wear. It's made of solid stainless steel links, closely resembling a watch band or a bicycle chain, wrapped tightly around the wrist. It looks heavy, it feels premium, and it doesn't scream weapon to the uninitiated. However, the clasp on this bracelet is designed for rapid detachment. With a quick manipulation, the bracelet unspools from your wrist to become a flexible, weighted steel whip or flail measuring nearly 3 feet long. This weapon operates on the same principle as a medieval chain, flail, or a monkey fist. When you swing it, the centrifugal force concentrates all that steel mass into the tip. The damage potential here is terrifyingly high. Unlike a lightweight leather whip that stings, this is a chain of solid metal. A single strike can easily shatter tempered glass, break small bones in the hand or wrist, or cause massive lacerations. Because it is flexible, it is incredibly difficult to block. If an attacker raises an arm to block a strike, the chain wraps around the limb, and the weighted tip continues its trajectory to hit whatever is behind the block, usually the face or the back of the head. Number 5. Ninja Caltrops Anti-Pursuit Spikes. Priced to $5.99, pack of 10. We promised you a game changer for home security, and this is it. While almost every other item on this list requires you to be awake, alert, and holding a weapon to defend yourself, this product fights for you even while you are asleep. Historically used by ninjas and later by military forces to stop vehicles, caltrops, often listed on Temu as anti-theft wall spikes or tire nails, are a masterclass in geometry. They are small, tetrahedral metal structures with 4 sharpened prongs. The genius of the design is simple. No matter how you throw them, drop them, or scatter them, they always land with one spike facing perfectly straight up. You cannot knock them over, you cannot disarm them, they are purely passive area denial weapons. For a homeowner, these are a tactical nightmare for an intruder. If you hear a window break downstairs in the middle of the night, you don't have to go rushing into the dark to face a potentially armed threat. Instead, you scatter a handful of these at the top of the stairs or in the hallway leading to your bedroom. You have instantly created a minefield. An intruder moving quickly in the dark will step on one, and the resulting pain is immediate and debilitating. It pierces through sneakers and boots easily, effectively immobilizing the target or at least slowing them down significantly while you call the police. Number 4. Stainless Steel Balisong Butterfly Knife. Into $9.99. There are knives, and then there are cultural icons. The balisong, or butterfly knife, is perhaps the most flashy and intimidating opening mechanism in history. Originating from the Philippines, this knife features 2 handles that counter-rotate around the blade's tang. When closed, the handles completely encase the blade, making it safe to carry without a sheath. Temu is flooded with these, ranging from dull trainers, which have holes in the blade and are unsharpened, allowing you to practice tricks without losing a finger, to live-edge stainless steel versions. The one we are looking at is the skeletonized steel tactical version. The handles are drilled out to reduce weight and improve the balance for flipping. Why is this lethal? 2 reasons: lock strength and deployment speed. Once a balisong is flipped open and you grip the handles together, it becomes virtually as strong as a fixed blade knife. There is no fragile locking mechanism to fail. Your hand is the lock. This makes it incredibly reliable for heavy piercing tasks. But the real weapon here is the intimidation factor. The sound of a butterfly knife clicking and clacking open the click-clack snick is universally recognized. Number 3. Full Finger Claw Armor Ring. To $1.99. At number 3, we have an item that sits squarely on the border between Gothic fashion statement and medieval torture device. While many self-defense rings like the Sting Ring focus on electric shock or a single protruding point, this product takes a far more aggressive approach by armoring the entire digit. This is a segmented, jointed metal ring that covers your finger from the base knuckle all the way to the fingertip, ending in a sharpened claw-like point. The engineering here is surprisingly decent for the price point. It features dual hinges that allow the metal armor to bend with your finger, meaning you don't lose dexterity. You can still make a fist, grab an object, or ride a motorcycle while wearing it. But in a combat scenario, it serves 2 distinct lethal purposes. First, it acts as a shield. In a defensive struggle, hands are often the first thing to get injured. This layer of alloy protects your finger bones from being crushed or cut. Second, and more importantly, it transforms an open hand slap or a scratch into a maiming strike. A standard scratch is annoying. A scratch with a sharpened metal claw is a deep laceration that causes immediate shock and visual impairment if aimed at the face. It's terrifying to look at, which is half the battle. Number 2, Tactical Shoelace Spikes. To $2.99. Most tactical training focuses entirely on what you can do with your hands. But what happens if your hands are grabbed, bound, or occupied? That is where this insidious little invention comes into play. These are small, innocuous-looking clips made of high-impact polymer or metal that weave directly into the shoelaces of your sneakers or boots. Once installed, they are practically invisible, blending in with the laces and the tongue of the shoe. However, hiding in that plastic weave is a rigid, upward-facing spike or a hardened wedge. This tool transforms your footwear into a weapon. It is designed specifically for breaking holds. If an attacker grabs you from behind, a sharp driving stomp onto their instep with these spikes will cause excruciating pain and likely break the small bones in their foot, forcing them to release their grip instantly. Furthermore, they add a devastating piercing element to a standard kick. A soccer kick to the shin or knee is painful on its own. A soccer kick with a concentrated pressure point can shatter bone or rupture skin through denim. The beauty of this device is that it is completely hands-free. You don't have to draw it, you don't have to hold it, and you can't drop it. It is always there waiting for you to take a step. It is the ultimate passive weapon that turns your body mechanics into a force multiplier. Number 1. Lipstick Disguised Hidden Blade. Priced to $4.99, And finally, at number 1, we have the absolute pinnacle of concealment. In the world of hidden weapons, the goal is to be invisible until the very last second, and nothing achieves that better than this. To the naked eye, this is a standard generic tube of lipstick. It has the right shape, the right size, the right weight, and even a convincing cap. You could have this rolling around in a purse, sitting on a car dashboard, or even held in your hand while talking to a police officer, and it would register as zero threat. But this isn't for makeup. When you pull the cap off and twist the base exactly like you would to raise the lipstick wax, you instead deploy a 2-inch drop-point steel blade. This is the definition of a wolf in sheep's clothing. The lethality here isn't about the size of the blade, it's about the time to contact. In a self-defense scenario, drawing a knife from a pocket or a sheath takes time you might not have. But if you are walking through a dark parking lot clutching this in your hand, you are already armed. There is no draw time. If someone approaches you, you are just holding a cosmetic item. If they attack, the response is instant. The blade is small, yes, but it is sharp enough to target vulnerable areas and create space to escape. It exploits the attacker's assumptions against them. They expect a victim. They don't expect the lipstick to bite back. There you have it, 17 ways to defend yourself that prove you don't need gunpowder to be dangerous. Just a little creativity and a few dollars. Check the links in the description to grab these before they sell out, and stay safe out there.